Did some VIP members of Congress get special deals with ill-fated mortgage lender Countrywide? We may never know.
Because recorded phone calls that could have been used as evidence have apparently disappeared, vanished. California Congressman Darrell Issa is calling for an investigation, and he joins us now from Washington. Congressman, thank goodness you're doing this, because it is very important to get to the bottom of it. Now, you had a Countrywide rep, Robert Feinberg, who testified that Countrywide's VIP service, and that's the one through which supposedly some of these sweetheart loans went through, that every phone call was recorded, coming in and going out every day of the week, every hour, 365 days of the year. That's what a guy testified to, I assume under oath. But today we hear from Bank of America that these recordings were only used for training purposes, and due to these limitations, and I'm quoting now, we have no recordings from before July 2008. So who are we to believe?
Well, right now we're to believe no one, because Bank of America has not been served a subpoena. Their answers are answers of lawyers interpreting. In other words, they have the cover of lawyers' statements, shielding them from direct statements. What we've been asking for is former Countrywide employees and the documentation presently held by Bank of America to be delivered. If they then, upon a subpoena, say there is no audio, then the next question is, when did it disappear? Our information is that it was held virtually in perpetuity because they would use it to verify whether someone was promised something on a loan or not. So we are very suspect that these were destroyed by individuals at Countrywide in the waning days of Countrywide, or perhaps even after Bank of America owned them. But in either case, we are not going to accept an answer. We don't get it under subpoena. And right now, Chairman Towns is unwilling to give us that subpoena. He's been resistant all along, and we're trying to step up the heat because we think at this point, it's not just the criminal activities of Countrywide people. It's also a question of why are these destroyed? Why are these documents not available? And why is it that Bank of America won't turn over without a subpoena, and our chairman will not give us a subpoena?
You know, Representative, I picked up the phone. I called a former SEC attorney, and he said having that subpoena is crucial because then they can argue, well, we didn't have a subpoena. We didn't know, except that he also told me that it is almost a sign of culpability if you destroy recordings of conference calls, whether they be with shareholders or what have you, because usually these companies, when they want to show that they are clean as a whistle, will preserve these recordings, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And in our conversations with Bank of America, they have said that the only reason they're not delivering without a subpoena is that they don't want private individuals going after them. I suspect it's private individuals who got a VIP deal who are powerfully placed in this administration now, even if they weren't in government then, and powerful members of my own party. But in either case, without a subpoena, we're not going to get proof as to whether these audio recordings exist, or for that matter, really find out the level of corruption involved in the Countrywide loan program.
All right. Well, the Countrywide VIP account executive, Robert Feinberg, who testified before your committee, was he under oath? And if so, doesn't his testimony contradict what Bank of America said today?
He was under oath. He would be liable for criminal charges if he lied. And in fact, up until now, he's been the only person on the record. And of course, what he told us was the names of a few people that passed through his portfolio, perhaps only 1 in 5 VIPs did he ever know about. And that's part of the reason we want the documentation. We're talking about a vast business enterprise that was currying favor with politicians throughout the country, and in fact probably distorted the laws that you and I had to live under.
Representative, though, we've got all kinds of companies that might have done something dicey during this financial crisis, and you know, how do you avoid the appearance of it looking like a witch hunt, that you're going after certain Democrats and certain people who probably or maybe very well did get these sweetheart loans, but nonetheless it might have that smell, if you know what I mean?
Well, first of all, there's plenty of high-profile Republicans who took these, some might call them bribes. Certainly, they were inappropriate to take under our laws. Congressmen, key staffers, including on the committees of jurisdiction on the Republican side, are involved. The Postmaster General is involved. So we're not looking at Republican or Democrat. What we're looking at is, first of all, there was a level of corruption in what Countrywide did. Second of all, if we don't get to these individuals and figure out what they did in their official capacity, we're not going to be able to reasonably undo some of what was done. And the American people have taken trillions of dollars in losses, and much of it specifically because of how Countrywide was not only able to do these subprime loans, but they were able to dump them onto the federal cost. And we're not talking just the bailout, because Freddie and Fannie are still trillions of dollars upside down.
Now, this was thanks to the $300 billion housing bill that was written up by Senator Chris Dodd, who's one of those who was under suspicion in all this.
Well, absolutely. And, you know, I'm not going after Chris Dodd. Senator Dodd has been looked at by his ethics committee, but there were so many members of the House, Senate, and staff who have not been looked at. And then beyond that, you don't know what you don't know. And unfortunately, Chairman Towns has said this is not a priority, meaning it's too little for our committee to go after. The amazing thing is, if you look at our calendar of what we are going after, this is so much bigger than many things we spend time on.
Representative Darrell, Issa of California, great to see you. Thank you. Keep us posted on this. We do appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for covering this.
Of course.
Well, the